In this video, I'm going to review how to access a template for Google Sheets rubrics that sync to Google Classroom, and then also how to edit that template and upload it to a Google Classroom assignment. So I'll be sharing this link with you. This is from Alice Keeler. You don't exactly know her personally, but this is a public template that can be used to create a Google Sheets rubric to then add to Google Classroom. So you'll automatically be directed to this and select Make a Copy. This way you will have your own copy of this rubric template to then edit and post in Google Classroom. So you can see it's a very basic template. You have title, description, and then you've got your criteria. I've selected a scoring one, so this does include points on it. She also has a template created if you don't want to include points. Okay, so this actually, if you've looked at the Google Classroom rubric, create a rubric option, this matches that pretty spot on. So we'll start with a title for this criterion. So this is going to be one of my criterions for my Google Classroom rubric. So let's say I need to do an intro paragraph. This is an essay rubric, and I want students to make sure they have an intro paragraph. That'll be my criterion. My description here will be what kind of in general is an introduction paragraph. So a paragraph includes context and a thesis statement. Okay, at the beginning of an essay, whatever it is that you want to put as your description. And you'll see as I'm typing in here, it is populating other criterion to kind of match this. So there are formulas set up in this document already that will repopulate other criterion as you add. I'll show you kind of how to edit those in just a moment. So then I want to set up my scoring. I typically don't assign that many points to different pieces of a rubric. So let's say my top standard here is 5, and this is meets standard. I like these descriptions here of meet standard, approaching standard, below standard, or unacceptable. I usually put unable to assess here, whatever it is that's going to be a 0 points for you on this rubric. So I'm going to leave those descriptions as needed, but I could go in and edit these if I wanted to. And then I have the actual description of what does it mean to meet the standard for the introduction paragraph. So here I just describe exactly what I'm looking for that student to earn full points on that part of the rubric. So maybe it's a complex introduction that, wow, I can't type today, that connects the context to the topic or prompt of the essay and includes a historically defensible thesis or something along those lines, just a description so that students know exactly what they need to do to meet that standard. And I would do the same thing for each of these other point categories on my rubric. Okay, so I'm going to adjust these just a little bit so that my points don't get all crazy. And you'll notice that as I adjust the points on my very first criterion, it's going to be matched for the other criterion that I have on this document. So let's say I'm also going to be evaluating their body paragraphs, and I'm looking for a topic sentence supported by evidence and analysis in the body paragraph. And again, you can see it now I've repopulated another criterion, and I will just continue to add descriptions and criterion as needed to this rubric. Okay, now let's say I only need these 2 criterion, or I've added all the criterion that I need. I don't want to go in and delete any of these rows or anything. That will mess up some of the formulas on the table. But I can just simply delete the text that is here, and it will delete that criterion or any other criterion that have been populated based on the work that I've done on the document. So let's say this is a completed rubric for me. I'll want to rename this just so it doesn't have this crazy name at the top. So I might call this one essay rubric. I like to kind of create basic ones that can be reused on multiple assignments. And now this is saved in my drive as an essay rubric. So once this is saved and I feel like it's ready to go, I can add it to a Google Classroom assignment. Okay, so I'll go ahead and go to my Google Classroom. I go under classwork, and let's say I've got an assignment that's posted already even, but I want to add this rubric to it. So I'll hit my 3 dots on the side and hit edit. Once I've opened the assignment dialog box under rubric, I can hit the plus rubric button and import from sheets. And now it will only pull up spreadsheets since that's all it's going to be working with here. And I can go ahead and find the rubric that I just created or a rubric that I have already saved. And I can add that rubric to, let's see if I can find the one I just made. Okay, so now that I've found my essay rubric, I'm just going to double click on that or click and hit insert, and now it's going to populate the rubric for me. So once it's inserted, it will come up as an editable rubric in Google Classroom. Hopefully that's a word. And I could go ahead and change some of the criteria. So if I populated a full essay rubric, but I just wanted to focus on certain parts, I could delete criteria or other things as needed. This is all good and set up for me, so I just hit save. And now my rubric has been saved in my assignment, so I hit save again, and it is available to students and also available for me to use in order to grade this assignment. It really helps and makes grading a lot easier.